narration. They can help define behavior in various situations, help youths make good choices as they are the foundation of how children grow and solidify the bond that your family has. However, experts have attributed the problems confronting the nation today to breakdown of values in the family. Therefore, the need to strengthen family values have become mandatory because if the family as the fabric of the society is built up properly, the society will be cohesive and stronger. Nevertheless, how well have we fared as a nation in promoting family values?
Our family values vary from culture to culture, and it's also embedded in nowadays our two major religions. So it depends which side of the divide you fall. Like my son is residing here with me in Abuja. I'm a Yoruba man. So I had to teach him when he wake up, I had to show him how to prostrate and say a carousel and stuff like that.
When I was growing as a child, my parents taught me how to be disciplined, number one. They taught me how to be God-fearing, because when someone is God-fearing, anywhere you are, you can maintain that ability.
Parents have to put a lot of efforts in making sure they give their children basic education and good moral upbringing. Actually, I want to impart a very good value to my children, knowing that if you do something good, you're going to benefit people around you, society and all that, and that the opposite of it, which is the bad character, can lead you in so many places, as it can be disastrous.
When you talk about family values, I discovered when we were growing up, this is one of the things we held very serious in our lives. But looking at the generation that we are in now, it looks to me as if family value has been lost. Because when you see a lot of things that are happening, if actually we have family values, we wouldn't get into all these problems that we are having today. Like somebody like myself, whatever I want to do, I want to look at the effect in my family. If such has a drastic effect in my family, I wouldn't do that because my family comes first than anything.
In our society now, we do not have strong values for family. I didn't grow up to experience the love of mother and father, sharing the same bed, being in their middle, and, I only grew up to understand other people's perspective as mothers, not as your biological mother. And so I would say it hasn't really made me a better person because I have some challenges that I'm still going through because of that basic foundation I never had.
Indeed, there is a great need to reawaken our family values, to identify what your values
Continuity in Rwanda. Acting President Yemi Osibajo attends inauguration of President Paul Kagame in Kigali.
The girls are now looking forward to a bright and promising future.
106 released Chibok girls set for school resumption in September as Education Minister expresses optimism over resolution of strike by Academic Staff Union of Universities. Renowned philanthropist Musa Uja passes on at 58. A very good evening to you and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Isaac Nkuma. We're reaching you live from the Abuja studios of the NTA, and from our Lagos Center, Ademola Adeoye will be our guide. Acting President Yemi Osibajo joined other world leaders at the inauguration of President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, which took place today in Kigali, the country's capital. The acting president was accompanied on the trip by Foreign Affairs Minister Jeffrey Onyama and other top government officials. Acting President Osibajo commended President Paul Kagame for showing excellent leadership, particularly in the East African region, noted that his work was largely responsible for his re-election for a third term. The acting president urged African leaders to work hard towards solving challenges confronting people of the continent. In his inauguration speech, President Paul Kagame said Africa must look inward to solving its problems.
There is infinitely more than unites us as Africans than divides us. It is important for Rwandans and our fellow Africans to feel reassured that attacks on our character only makes us stronger, provided we respond with clarity and conviction.
President Paul Kagame of Rwanda there giving his inauguration speech. And back home in Nigeria, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has directed that 17 appointees of 3 boards should resume in acting capacity pending confirmation of their appointment by the Senate. The appointees include Alhaji Ali Usman Ahmed as Acting Chairman of the National Pensions Commission, the Acting Director General and 4 Acting Executive Directors, and Professor Bolaji Owasanoye, Acting Chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. The Code of Conduct Bureau has Dr. Muhammad Isa as Acting Chairman with 9 acting members. In the same vein, the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, has approved the redeployment of 24 permanent secretaries. A statement by the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Winifred Oyoita, directed that the process of handing and taking over should be completed on or before Friday, the 25th of August 2017, except for deployments with specific taking over or resumption. The Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Aisha Al-Hassan, says 106 released Chibok girls are set for school next month and are in sound health and fully reintegrated into the society. She stated this at a media briefing in Abuja. Talatu Ezerike reports.
Live through collaborations for the initial 24 abducted Chibok girls who escaped captivity. They have received remedial trainings at the American University of Nigeria and ready to study courses like medicine and accounting, a feat highly applauded. Next is the released and escaped 106 Chibok girls. Minister of Women Affairs says the girls have received top-class medical care with clean bill of health, provided with psychosocial support to erase unpleasant memories and traumatic experiences, and have fully reintegrated in the society.
Through rigorous and extensive time with social workers, counselors, and psychologists, the girls are now looking forward to a bright and promising future. Rather than suffer any form of stigmatization, the girls have become survivors and heroes in their own right.
The minister notes that negotiation is still on for the release of the remaining girls, as she prays that God touches the hearts of the terrorists to release the girls. For the Chibok parents chairman, it is immense gratitude for the reintegration of the girls. Nigerians, especially the media, are advised to help in the healing process through positive reportage. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
And the Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, has appeared before the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund to give an update of progress of negotiations with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. The minister expressed optimism that despite some disagreements, the strike will be called off in a matter of days.
I've already written a letter formalizing the meeting I had with them, because I went along with them, and then all agreement we did, I wrote a letter which I gave them yesterday. From the way they received it, Mr. Chairman, I think it is possible that the strike will be called off in a week.
From what he told us, we are happy and we feel impressed by what he's doing, and we do hope based on what he told us, that the strike will be over within a very short period.
The areas of disagreement include a refusal to allow the union to be removed from the Treasury's single account, TSA, among others, although negotiations are making a headway. Meanwhile, a report from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, indicates that the institution's academic staff are yet to join the ongoing strike called by the national body of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Rotimi Akomu, who was at the campus, has a situation report.
Situations at the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife depicts that the members of the academic staff unions of the university, ASU, of the institution did not join the ongoing nationwide strike of the union. Sequence to these academic activities are going on at the university at the first semester examinations for the year 2017-2018 academic year continued without any hindrance.
Because we started the exams actually, and it doesn't affect OAU in any way.
We were told that ASU Obafemi Awolowo branch is actually not joining, considering the fact that we started the exams, so as not to disrupt it, but we don't know what will happen after our exams.
All efforts to see the two factional leaders of the union at the university, Dr. Niyes Manu and Dr. Caleb Aborisade, to speak on the issue proved abortive as their offices were under lock and key. From the Obafemi Awolowo University Ile-Ife, Rotimi Akama, NTA News.
In the meantime, Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has been advised to follow the path of negotiations as against the use of incessant strikes. This was the view of guest on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria. Lydia Sampson reports.
The guests decried what they call poor budgetary allocation to education, stressing that Nigeria must get her acts together by investing more in education, as ignorance is more expensive and counterproductive. The strikes began in Nigeria in 1992 for improved facilities and working environment. 25 years down the line, the guests say the improvements recorded came about as a result of previous strikes. But is strike the only way? Isn't it one strike too many?
This idea of strikes is not good for us, it's not good for our students, it's not good for the country.
And I do not imagine that professors in the university will go on strike as a matter of a joke. They are also stakeholders. Their own kids are also in these universities.
It is not really the strike per se that is too many, but it is the attitude of the stakeholders that is actually the major issues.
With universities producing the human resource that feeds other sectors, the guests are optimistic that a change of approach that will be proactive by seeking the support of students and parents in the campaign without interrupting academic activities may produce better and sustainable results for the good of all stakeholders. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Still talking education, effective synergy among key players in the education sector could help build the desired generation and a stronger nation. This was the unanimous decision of stakeholders at the 13th Biennial Conference of Students' Work Experience Scheme, CWES. Close collaboration was identified as a way out of resolving challenges of the scheme. Minister of State, Trade and Investment Aisha Abubakar, in her message at the event, acknowledged Students' Work Experience Scheme, CWES, as a veritable platform in the government's economic transformation drive.
Midwife the program effectively on behalf of the federal government, giving government's posture to bring about economic recovery and growth and also generate employment. The upgrading of our educational curriculum through an articulated process of developing our young men and women in their various fields of endeavor cannot be overemphasized.
We are all aware that the CWES is a very laudable scheme and has the capacity to impact positively on our educational curriculum. We must build a new generation of hands-on Nigerians. We must be able to ensure that CWES survives and survives even beyond our generation. This we can only do by ensuring that as we gather here, we are able to come up with concrete realities and challenges to resolve and to address challenges to resolve this all-important scheme.
And moving to other aspects of the news, the ongoing pensioners verification exercise has been adjudged the best so far by pensioners in Ondo State, who also commended the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, for a smooth and fast process. Executive Secretary of the PTAD, Sharon Ikazo, who was in Akure to monitor the 5-day verification exercise, said pensioners who are incapacitated and cannot physically appear for the exercise will be visited in their homes. Doris Olumoko tells us more.
The Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate is an agency of the federal government established in 2013 to oversee the administration of pensions under the defined benefit scheme for pensioners not transiting to the contributory pension scheme. Federal and state pensioners who have federal shares are covered in the process. Over 3,000 pensioners are expected to undergo the verification exercise here in Akure, Ondo State. And on the part of PTAD, arrangements have been put in place in terms of welfare, as there is enough food to go around the pensioners and water. Also, medical personnel are on ground to take care of any emergency. Executive Secretary of PTAD, Sharon Ikazu, explained that the essence of digitizing the employment records and biometrics of the pensioners is to create a permanent database of the records and ensure that pensioners are not asked to come out again for such a detailed exercise.
This will eventually be the last verification ever for our pensioners who are under the defined benefit scheme, which is what PTAD handles. We're going to have the live verification, and they can do it in the comfort of their phones through their mobile phones or at the banks through their debit cards.
The arrangement is thorough.
This is better organized than the previous ones.
PTAB also made arrangements to assist some pensioners with the aid of wheelchairs, while the mobile verification team will go out to pensioners at home and in the hospitals to ensure that all pensioners are captured. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Bank of Industry faces federal representatives to answer query of Auditor General of the Federation on delinquent debtors owing it over 8.4 billion naira. These and more stories after the break. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
Hey, now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one I dey buy. Standard, we say. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office when near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Why is peak milk different? Is it because it is extra fortified with nutrients to give you a stronger body and sharper mind? Is it the gold mark of quality, backed up by heritage? All that and more are the reasons why Peak has been building strong families since 1954. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant to achieve our creed as we promise. We shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Bayes University Abuja offers world-class education, uninterrupted academic session, and promising degrees. Bayes University Abuja is affordable and delivers quality with experienced international staff, superb facilities, overseas external examiners, and a serene academic atmosphere. We offer quality and affordable education, and students are within easy reach of their parents here at Bayes University Abuja. So learn to live at Bayes University for a brighter future. For more information, visit our website at www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng or call 081 3376 9657 or 081 3376 9658. Bayes University Abuja. Learn to live.
Fellow Nigerians, with the high rate of terrorism and militant attacks in the country, the Nigerian army is seeking your support. Terrorists, militants, and other forms of criminals are not ghosts. They reside amongst you and me. And the Nigerian army is doing everything possible to eradicate terrorism in the country. If you sense anything or anyone, suspect something or someone, please say it. You can also visit the nearest military unit in your vicinity for necessary actions to be taken against the criminals. Help us to keep you safe. Security is our collective responsibility. Let's all work together to achieve greatness. Again, if you see anything, say something. Your security is our priority. Let's all collectively say no to terrorism.
Thanks for staying with us. Office of the Auditor General for the Federation has questioned the Bank of Industry over 8.4 billion naira owed the bank by delinquent debtors. In defense of the query before the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts, the Managing Director of the bank, Olukayode Piton, explained that the financial institution has commenced process of debt recovery. Ignatius Unkwo reports.
The Bank of Industry Management was summoned by the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts to defend two queries raised against it by the Auditor General for the Federation. The first query was on the 8.4 billion naira owed the bank by 58 debtors against the Central Bank of Nigeria's directives in 2015, requesting the Managing Director of the bank to publish the names of the debtors in 3 national newspapers as part of recovery measures.
The names of these affected debtors were published in 3 national newspapers, namely Guardian of 8 December 2015, Business Day of 7 December 2015, and Punch of 10 December 2015. In addition to that, we have taken debtors to court. Some are settling with us, some are in the courts, some are being with the EFCC, and some of them, their assets are with the auctioneers to be auctioned.
Evidence of taking people to court. Can he refer us to the pages? Evidence of those in EFCC. Is there any page to that? Evidence of other actions.
We have copies of the publications, and I'm sure we have sent copies of this to the Office of the Auditor General.
The items that what the Managing Director said, we haven't supplied with any document. This is our working tools.
The committee stepped down the query in order to allow the bank provide evidence of recovery measures.
We request that the original copy of the publication be forwarded to the committee. The recovery made so far, collateral securing the loans, and reports on the 58 delinquent debtors.
The second query was on the utilization of the 2.7 billion naira in the UWIN account and evidence to show that the fund and its interest has been transferred to the Central Bank of Nigeria. But the managing director of the bank explained that only 780 million naira was released to the bank. The committee also requested that the bank provide comprehensive report on disbursement, investment and list of all the beneficiaries of the UWIN program. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Moving to security now, lack of synergy among Nigerian security agencies is one issue that the Interior Minister Abdulrahman Dambazo says must be tackled for the country to address security challenges. The minister was speaking when he received the Adjutant General of the California Military Department in his office. Mujanatu Adam Said reports.
The California Army Guard in the USA originated from the state militia established by the Constitution of California in 1849. Nigeria is about to benefit from the expertise of the Guard as it arrives to train security agencies under the Interior Ministry.
The type of training will be a broad spectrum that could be on the tactical end of things like first aid, combat life-saving.
Major General David Baldwin says the exercise will be on mutual benefit as they also stand to learn from the Nigerian security agencies. Meanwhile, the Minister of Interior has received in audience members of the implementation of harmonized standard operating procedures on the arrest, detention, and prosecutions of persons who commit illegalities around Nigerian maritime environment.
So I can see a situation whereby we may even work closely together with this your committee on harmonization of the SOP.
The committee, which was inaugurated by the acting president Yemi Osinbajo in January this year, is composed of 30 agencies across all the ministries. In Abuja, Murjanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
Acts of sacrifice, compassion, love and honesty are said to be the panacea for building close relationship with Allah, which will in turn enhance togetherness and unity. Deputy Chief Imam of Abuja National Mosque, Malam Mohammed Kabir, stated this while delivering sermon on today's Jumat prayers. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports. Oh, sorry for the loss of audio in that report. Now, moving on, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has been repositioned to ensure comprehensive and effective coverage of pilgrimages of the two major religions to Saudi Arabia and Jerusalem. Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who said this at the pre-departure briefing for the 2017 NTA Hajj team, said positive synergy and collaboration between the authority and development partners is making it possible for Nigerians to have daily reports and live coverage of issues concerning Nigerian pilgrims. Saliu Abdullahi reports.
More than 65,000 intending pilgrims from Nigeria have been granted entry into Saudi Arabia for the 2017 pilgrimage. Already, a significant number have been airlifted. With few days to the commencement of the Hajj rituals, Nigerian Television Authority NTA, which is the official broadcaster for Nigeria, has perfected strategies to keep Nigerians abreast with happenings before, during and after the Hajj. While addressing a 10-man team before departure, NTA management acknowledged the increasing partnership with key stakeholders in Hajj operations and urged the team to justify the confidence in the authority's capability and capacity as a professional broadcast outfit.
NTA has been covering the Hajj for many years, but this is the first time in the history of the organization that we are embarking on such a very elaborate, coverage regime, to set the pace and make sure that the plans put in place are executed. This is an experiment, and we intend to replicate what we are doing relating to this year's Hajj exercise to the Christian pilgrimage.
Make sure that their clients get the best.
The major objective is when the signal gets to our audience and it is clear.
I know your level of expertise. Please try to bring it to bear so that NTA will remain #1.
Let's educate the public on what Hajj is all about. Then the positive angle of Nigeria, because it's international relations.
Leader of the 10-man team, Hamza Sheikh, expressed the resolve of the team to once again demonstrate NTA's expertise and experience in television broadcasting in Nigeria.
And we are now assuring Nigerians that they are going to get the best of this year's Hajj coverage.
The 5-day Hajj exercise is expected to begin from August 30th to September 4th, 2017 in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Well, I'll take you back to our earlier report on the Jumat prayers today with Ali Ilyasu Yakubu.
Mutual suspicion, hate speeches ravaging the world today give rise to incessant conflict among leaders of the world, thereby subjecting the people to untold hardship. This is in addition to millions of lives lost and property worth billions of dollars destroyed. Imam Muhammad Kabir's sermon was in tune with happenings around the world, while he tasked Nigerians to make sacrifices, show compassion and love for one another. He said Allah is pleased with those who sacrifice on behalf of others for the unity and progress of the society, while encouraging Muslims to take advantage of the month of sacrifice and pray fervently for the growth and development of Nigeria.
I call on Nigerians to pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue preserving our country for us. I also call on them to pray for peaceful coexistence of this country.
The chief imam later led the congregation in the 2 rakat prayers. In Abuja, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Staying with religious matters, a level playing field and support for investors in Nigeria has been described as an avenue to create positive returns for the country. Executive Secretary, Nigerian Christian Pilgrims Commission, NCPC, Uja, stated this at an enlightenment workshop on pilgrimage service delivery and public procurement held in Abuja. Lydia Bassi was there.
Ease of doing business is a federal government initiative to create a conducive business environment in Nigeria, amongst other objectives. The Nigeria Christian Pilgrim Commission in this workshop is targeting to build robust synergy between foreign and local service providers. Uja encourages stakeholders to participate in Christian pilgrimage activities to help in nation building.
If we Nigerians lay down laws and procedures, we should be the first to follow and then encourage others to also obey them. The only real beneficiaries who are torturing our nation are those who are benefiting from corrupt practices.
You cannot do business with the people you don't know. You can't do business with the people you cannot understand where they are going. NCPC is very intentional about where it's going.
Focus of the workshop is making business grow roots and fruits in Nigeria.
The expectations are very high. With the way NCPC is set up and is running its operation, I believe everything is looking good.
The workshop is designed to bring stakeholders into a common understanding of how NCPC works, to forge a common agreement that will showcase the business-friendly environment in Nigeria. Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
And a quick one on security again. Bauchi State Governor Mohammed Abubakar has challenged the Nigerian Army and other security agencies to intensify efforts in flushing out all criminals in Bauchi State. He gave the challenge during a courtesy visit on him by the General Officer Commanding 3 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, JOS, Major General Benjamin Ahanotu. Mahmoud Ibn Mohammed reports.
Now, Muhammad Abubakar, who lamented on the activities of criminals in the surrounding forest of Bauchi State, noted that his administration, amongst other collaborations with the army and other security outfits, procured and distributed motorcycles to security agencies in order to track and arrest criminals hiding in all the nooks and crannies of Bauchi State.
Security is paramount. It is the basis for all other human endeavors. When there is no security, then nothing happens. And for that reason, for our enlightened self-interest, we in Bauchi State will definitely give cooperation to the armed forces and other security outfits operating in Bauchi State.
He, however, expressed delight with the combined efforts of the state and federal governments through the security agencies. On his part, the General Commanding Officer 3 Brigade of the Nigerian Army, JOS, Major General Benjamin Ahanotu, assured the governor that the army is more than ever ready to root out all criminal elements sneaking into Bauchi State.
It's rather been a bit peaceful, just here and there, one or two incidents of hoodlums and criminals. We are very delighted to state here that the state has been very, very cooperative. I want to actually request for more of such support from the state government.
In Bauchi, Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad, NTA News.
And for a quick check on stories making the headlines in Lagos, the Center of Excellence, let's join Ademola. Hello, Ademola. It's over to you.
Hello, Isaac. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. The combined military training organized by the United States Air Force Command in partnership with the Nigerian Air Force has ended in Lagos. The one-week training program is organized to improve personnel skills arrangement for stretchers in the Nigerian Air Force C-130H aircraft. There was also a medical outreach for internally displaced people within the Lagos area. Ken Egbeluhe has the details.
The forum provided opportunity for participating nations to improve proficiency and readiness in various key aviation fields. It also concentrated on capacity building for the aircrew and medical personnel involved in humanitarian and aeromedical evacuation operations. The Chief of Air Staff, who was represented, enjoined the personnel to utilize the skills acquired during the training in the theater of operations.
Participants were also given opportunity to discuss their solutions to an aeromedical evacuation scenario, while building trust and cooperation to achieve common solutions.
We saw a great demonstration not only of the capabilities of the nations that were involved in working on their aeromedical evacuation capability, but also the great partnership amongst the nations that participated.
The Minister of Defense, who was also represented by the Permanent Secretary in the ministry, commended United States Air Force Command in Europe for the joint military training.
I therefore believe that the platform provided by this program for participants to compare notes would no doubt enhance the achievement of the various joint campaigns your countries are currently engaged in.
Participants also took time to attend to people with medical issues at the internally displaced people camp in Lagos. A total of 88 participants from Nigeria, the Republic of Benin, Chad, Niger, and the United States of America participated in the training. In Lagos, Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
A total of 19 unaccompanied minors and 114 teenagers have returned from Libya. Receiving the returnees at the cargo wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, officials of the National Emergency Management Agency say the returnees will be oriented before their reintegration with members of their families. Abolade Salami has the details.
Returnees were conveyed back to the country via Afriquair Airbus A320 at exactly 6:07 p.m. with 138 on board. One after the other, the returnees, made up of 106 teenage girls, 9 male minors, 8 male adults, 3 female children, and 3 infants, filed out of the aircraft with an expression of joy and safe return to their fatherland. On ground to receive them were officials of NEMA, members of the International Organization for Migrants, NAPTIP, medical personnel with an ambulance, where one of the returnees was wheeled out for medical attention while others proceed for their profiling. This set of returnees, officials of NEMA and IOM say, are the youngest so far who risked their lives traveling through the Mediterranean Sea in search of greener pasture.
The grass is not greener out there, that is very clear. Those of them that came back, they will tell you what they've gone through. It's hell out there.
And so many of them spent days traveling through the desert. No water, no food, so much, rape, sexual violence.
Some of the returnees narrate their ordeal.
I wish I was lectured about the journey. I don't think I would have gone to that journey. It was dreadful.
It is estimated that in the last 6 months of this year, over 2,000 Nigerians have died in the process of trying to travel through the Mediterranean Sea. This is why NAPTIP and other agencies are advising young Nigerians to build confidence in their country and take advantage. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And in business news, as government strives to address the 17 million housing deficit faced by the nation, Nigerians are groaning under the impact of high cost of building materials, especially cement. Amit Pius has more on our business news segment.
Hello and welcome to Business News. While efforts are on by government to bridge the 17 million housing gaps, prices of some building materials, especially cement, are on the increase. NTA Business News investigation shows that a bag of cement sells for between 2,000 and 3,000 naira, depending on the brand. This is against 1,500 and 2,000 naira, which customers paid for the product about 3 months ago.
The way it's going up is too much for us to bear. Even for us that have been buying trailers, now we cannot buy trailers anymore.
We are selling cement 2007. So that makes the block we are selling also, the price is higher.
The block we are selling before, age of 100 naira, 9 inches block, while we are selling others. But now the rate is 240 naira that we are selling. So if you can imagine the price due because of the cost of the cement.
Consequently, most residents in some major cities in the country, like Lagos and Abuja, have to pay more to secure a decent apartment. For instance, a 2-bedroom apartment at Surulere, Lagos, goes for between 700,000 and 900,000 naira a year, while at some other locations within the metropolis, the same apartment goes for between 500,000 and 600,000 naira a year.
If people cannot afford it, the ones that are even affordable, they are now subject to litigation in different courts across the states.
To rent a house now, they're easy.
High increase of materials, building materials, make the rentage of the house high up.
In most cases, owners of houses attributed the arbitrary increase to high cost of building materials, even when some of the houses are old and require no major repairs.
Even the houses built 50, 60 years ago, when somebody along the street increases his house to 3,000 naira, the next landlord wants to increase his house too.
The government must have a think tank that will look at this. If what we're talking about is that cement is now unaffordable, the building materials are unaffordable, the government must look at the ways of making this thing become affordable, if it has to even go into tax relief.
Time now to check closing figures on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange today.
Trading closed the week with market capitalization at 12.72 trillion naira. The all-share index finished at 36,920.56. Investors committed 4.80 billion naira to 236.61 billion shares.
And that ends Business News segment. The news continues shortly. Please stay with us.
You're still watching NTA Network News. We now take a break for some messages, after which the news returns shortly. Stay with us.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Win a share of 100 million naira with Malta Guinness. Find your code. SMS it with your name to 32011. 1 million naira plus cash and airtime prizes to be won every week. Malta Guinness. Let's go.
Nice to know you're still there. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Mekan Tibaru, has appealed to oil pipeline hackers to desist from such nefarious act, which, according to him, is not only harmful to the environment but equally hazardous to the pipeline vendors and the economy. He was speaking while receiving a delegation of the Nigerian Environmental Society who were at the NNPC towers for a business meeting.
Environmental practices are in line with the latest ISO specification. Be rest assured that if there is going to be one company that has to be environmentally compliant in the industry, it's going to be NNPC.
In her presentation, National Vice President of the Society, Dorothy Bassi, commended the NNPC for recent success in the sector and emphasized willingness of the Environmental Society to forge symbiotic relationships with the corporation to address all concerns in the oil and gas industry.
We commend the aggressive investments that the NNPC has gotten into with the top JV companies. We also commend your inauguration of the Anti-Corruption Committee.
The Group Managing Director restated the commitment of the NNPC to meet the best industry standards in health, safety and the environment. And it's time now to join Diba Barry in Port Harcourt for more reports from that zone on the Network News Tonight. Hello, Diba Barry.
Isaac, good evening and welcome to Port Harcourt. For about 1 week now, one of Nigeria's major oil fields, OML 25, located in Akokotoro, 50 kilometers southwest of Port Harcourt, has been under siege, with locals shutting it down and demanding that an indigenous oil company be given the license to operate it so as to benefit them. Human rights activists have been calling for a truce because of the economic implication of such a shutdown, which is daily running into millions of dollars. Kingsley Amajiri examines the issues.
OML 25 is located 50 kilometers southwest of Port Harcourt in Belema Community, Akotoro local government area of Rivers State. The field, operated by Shell, drills and produces several thousand barrels of crude oil per day. By implication, its shutdown cost the nation much.
As we are talking, if there is no exploration, it's impeding, it's affecting the economy. That's why I said there should also be political angle to it.
More worrisome to the community leaders is the plan by the multinational to divest the oil facility to another firm instead of an indigenous company, which the community leaders say would be more disposed to meeting their needs.
All peace lobbying organizations, Nigeria as a nation, the states should all intervene.
For these women, youth, elders, this campaign will continue until their demands are met. When contacted, SPDC General Manager External Relations, Igor Wed, declined to comment on the issue. But in a statement on its website, SPDC denied the allegation of negligence, saying that it has implemented a global memorandum of understanding, GMOU PAC, with the communities in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy has again recorded another giant stride in the fight against oil theft, as it destroyed about 30 illegal refining sites situated at Iyalama, Akokotoro local government area of Rivers State. The latest is a landmark achievement in the campaign against illegal theft of the nation's crude oil and economic sabotage. Again, Kingsley Amajiri reports.
This, no doubt, is the latest concentration of illegal refining activities in recent times, as it is estimated to produce about 3 to 4 million liters of petroleum products. There are about 30 of such illegal refineries at this site.
Take a look at this environment, not just the economic implication of concern to not just the security agencies, but to the citizenry, is the environmental implication of the activities that are going on here.
In each refinery, we have about 40 tanks. So this is a cluster, and we are starting from here, and we'll proceed to other clusters after we're through with this one.
In the course of the operation, The naval officials ran into a group conveying suspected AGO while also destroying a locally made boat laden with crude oil. From Iyalama in Akokotoro local government area, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
As our contribution from Port Harcourt is back to Isaac for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you, Dibabari. Nigeria has joined the world in marking 2017 World Honey Day with commitment to upscale local production to meet national and international demands. This is coming as the country is set to host the 2018 Global Honey Business Forum in Abuja. Musa Baba Aliyu has details.
World Bee Honey Day is observed annually to honor honeybees and beekeepers for the roles they play in national and international food security and nutrition.
We are hoping that by taking this work, we'll sensitize the public, and then we'll also bring out issues concerning the bee that are of benefit to mankind, so that people will know. Most people think that bees sting, and that's all they know.
Production of the bee venom, most people don't even know that when a bee stings you, it goes to help you in the treatment of arthritis.
Investigations show that Nigeria is currently producing about 15,000 metric tons of honey and 2,500 metric tons of beeswax annually. However, officials of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and that of Trade and Investment say the country has the potentials to produce close to 1 million tons of the commodity.
If Nigeria can produce 1% of the 1.4 million metric tons, that will be realizing $2.4 million annually from the export of honey.
The global honey business trade stands at $7 billion with annual demand and supply of 1.4 million tons at $5,000 per ton. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Another break beckons now. When we return, foreign news, sports and more. Stay with us.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
So what's up, sweetheart? You really look like you're up to something.
I have a secret.
Okay.
I'll be going to Europe next week.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Like you have your visa, your passport, your plane ticket?
No, not that way. Some men are helping us. We pay them, they take us through the desert, and then we cross the sea into Europe.
The desert? The sea? Isn't that the route where many have died?
Yes, it is indeed a very dangerous journey. In 2016 alone, 4,900 people died while crossing the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe. Many were Nigerians. For the very few who survived the journey, they are forced into prostitution or other crimes just to survive. Eventually, they will be arrested and deported to Nigeria. Don't be a victim. Don't go this way.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Welcome back. For happenings in Africa and other parts of the world, let's join Adamu also.
A warm welcome. A mass burial for about 300 people killed by mudslide on Thursday has taken place on the outskirts of the capital, Freetown. President Ernest Bai Koroma attended a multi-faith memorial service at the burial site in the city of Waterloo. Some 600 people are still believed to be missing, while more than 400 others are known to have died. There is also a growing concern about the risks of public health from waterborne diseases. Meanwhile, more than 40 people have been killed in a landslide in the northeast of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Most of the dead were from a fishing village on the bank of Lake Albert. Heavy rains caused part of a nearby mountain to collapse and engulf the village. There have been a number of deadly landslides in eastern DR Congo in recent years. South African police have issued a red alert at the country's border for Zimbabwe's First Lady, Grace Mugabe. The police minister said she is accused of hitting a 20-year-old woman over the head with an extension cord in a hotel room near Johannesburg. The First Lady's whereabouts is not known, but she is believed to still be in South Africa. Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe is also in the country ahead of a Southern African heads of state meeting. Spanish police say they have shot dead 5 suspected terrorists in the town of Cabrils in second vehicle attack after an early one in Barcelona killed 13 people and injured dozens. Police are still hunting the man who drove his van into crowds on Las Rabos in Barcelona on Thursday. Spain's Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy described it as a jihadist attack and had declared 3 days national mourning. That is it from here. The news continues.
And in sports, home-based Super Eagles vow to beat their Beninoa counterparts in Kano on Saturday as public primary schools in Kwara State receive sports equipment. Ayodeji Makinde has details on Sports Update.
After defeating Kano Pillars by a lone goal midweek at the Sani Abacha Stadium in Kano in a friendly ahead of the Championship of African Nations qualifier against Benin Republic on Saturday, the technical crew and players of the Super Eagles say everything is being done to win. Nigeria lost the first leg in Cotonou last Sunday, and winner of the two-legged encounter qualifies for the CHAN tournament in Kenya next year.
Kano State people have been behind the team, and we hope they will continue to be behind the team on Saturday so that we can have a skill through without so much pressure.
I think the most important thing is for us to come out victorious on Saturday to make our beloved fans happy here in Kano.
All is set for the 2017 National Under-17 Northeast Intrazonal Championship in Abuja this weekend, as participating teams hope to book tickets in team events ahead of the 2017 National Under-17 Sports Festival, which comes up later this year. Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad reports that teams will compete in hockey, volleyball, basketball, handball, football, and abula. Over 40 public primary schools across the 16 local government areas of Kwara State have been presented with various sporting equipment by the National Lottery Trust Fund. Abdul Wahid Bibiri reports that the distribution of the sporting equipment is aimed at catching the pupils at a younger age and promoting sports at the grassroots.
This intervention program will lead to the discovery of talent, of new talent in sport that flourish in our communities and rural areas.
The initiative is targeted at the 6 geopolitical zones in the country. With Sports Updates, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
The death has occurred today of a renowned philanthropist, Musa Uja, after a protracted illness. He was aged 54. In funeral prayers presided over by the Deputy Chief Imam of Abuja National Mosque, Mala Muhammad Kabir, prayed Allah to forgive the sins of the department. He enjoined Muslims to be steadfast in their prayers. Former Vice President Namadi Sambo, Chief of Army Staff General Tuku Buratai, Comptroller General Customs Hamid Ali, Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazo, Minister of State Aviation Hadi Sirika, former Minister of Information Labaran Mako, and Ifye Seko, Managing Director Heritage Bank, attended the funeral among other dignitaries. He has since been buried according to Islamic rites. And next is a quick check on weather prospects for Saturday. And just before we go, a quick reminder that you can watch all our stories and much more when you log on to our website, www.nta.ng. And that does it on NTA Network News tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Isaac Nkuma. Do have a lovely weekend. Good night.
Our programs are getting better and fresher. And it's because we are thinking about you. NTA, it's all about you.